Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 350 based on novel. So let's start. How is it possible? Looking at such a ***** and evil ancient formation, by Zetian and Devourer's faces showed an extremely ugly look. Even the two guardians of the heavenly soul and earthly soul, who are powerful and profound, are also filled with an unbelievable look. This master of the soul has already arranged many means, and even the treasure land with abundant energy in the world, the desert hinterland has been arranged into an ancient formation. To complete your own path of reincarnation, how about such an evil formation, the power to devour dozens of 8-star fighting immortals, as well as the power of many elites from the soul relief domain and soul eater domain, plus the power of acacia broken enteric disease, the road to reincarnation is easy. And this so-called Wumong blood soul array can absorb the blood essence of countless powerhouses and turn it into nourishment for oneself, thus paving the way for one's own reincarnation. It's no wonder that guy is so confident. Xiao Yan below smiled bitterly. Obviously the situation is now beyond the scope of his control. According to Xiao Yan's perception, the power of this 5-mang blood soul formation is probably no weaker than the forbidden technique cast by the Demon of Light, and with the strength of all of them, they cannot break through and leave here. I am afraid that this time, it will be a real dead end. Ah! Seeing this scene, Yu was also unable to shake her head. Yu, there's a problem. After a while, Xiao Yan's vindictive energy in his body recovered a little, and immediately got up and asked Yu with a serious look. I know what you want to ask, but I don't know either. And I can tell you that concern in your heart. I believe you have also noticed that the Lord of Li Soul, who devoured Acacia Flame and was seriously injured before, can be tied with the protective power in your body. Yu still opened his mouth. It is necessary to hide Xiao Yang. Yes. Xiao Yang nodded lightly, and Xiao Yang always felt that something was wrong. Because the soul body is completely eroded by some mysterious power, the master of the soul cannot condense the body and be reborn as a human being, and the research of our Soul Academy is to use special methods, special medicinal materials to refine into medicinal liquid, carry out soak and absorb, so as to be able to crack his strange physique. And this special medicinal liquid must be guided by the power of holy flame. Even after soaking, it will be seriously injured, but the so-called serious injury is not strength, nor soul power, just a weakness of breath, but he himself the power has not diminished in any way. And the strength of the Lord of Souls, I am afraid that he has already touched the reincarnation, so when he left the customs, he only showed a sense of weakness after being soaked in the medicinal liquid. As for the sluggish breath, I am afraid he did it on purpose. And to solve the problem of his strange physique, plus Acacia and everyone here, I'm afraid this guy's purpose is not just reincarnation, but a reincarnation realm. And the last way we have is to use the holy flame to attack him. Unfortunately, Acacia Flame is so well protected by him that I don't have any chance. Heavy voices continued to emerge from Yu's mouth. During these times, Yu also figured out all the ins and outs. Damn. Until this moment, Xiao Yang couldn't help roaring viciously, unable to say. Everyone, wait quietly for the destruction. The next cycle of blood soul formation. Today's events have been confirmed by my lord's prophecy. I'm waiting to follow you to the death. Help my lord to achieve reincarnation. As soon as the voice fell, Hua Shao was the leader, and all the remaining Li Soul domain powerhouses were shaking their bodies. The fog and flickering were all injected into the 5-mang blood soul formation. For a time, around the black light pattern evil formation covering the desert hinterland, countless blood mists rolled and surging, and the monstrous formation was suffocating. Queen, what should I do now? Seeing the sudden scene, the 4 minds around Hao Nia couldn't help asking. Do it, tear this evil formation apart. After a while, Hao Nia's beautiful eyes showed a rare burst of perseverance, and immediately waved it. The space around her body became extremely distorted, a heavy feeling of collapse spontaneously. Sky-devouring Colossus. By Ming Palm. Fire of the heavenly soul. Water of the earth soul. Space prism. The dimension is destroyed. For a time, the 5 8-star fighting immortals, the majestic fighting spirit in the body like a long rainbow, filed out, and the last 5,000 Zhong energy training enough to tear the world, completely hit the black pattern evil formation above. Boom. 5 destructive beams of light fell on the black patterned evil formation, and the entire desert hinterland trembled involuntarily, like the anger of the heaven and the earth. Fear. After a few breaths, the 5 beams of light slowly disappeared, and the majestic energy did not tear any corner of the formation, but instead poured into the evil formation. At the same time, The black patterned evil formation trembled. It was like a huge pentagram as a whole. After absorbing 5 destructive energy, it suddenly left the desert and lifted directly into the sky. In the 5 corners of the Wumong blood soul array, countless eerie blood mists are constantly surging. They are roaring, and fearful. And as the 5-mang blood soul formation took off, the blood mist in the 5 corners turned out to be facing the central cage of the 5-mang blood soul formation. As for the center of the formation, it was actually the same pink color that disappeared from the original master of the soul. Space completely overlapped. At this moment, countless blood mists poured into the pink space, paving the way for the reincarnation of the Lord of Li Soul. This guy. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yang's heart became more solemn than ever. The prestige of the Lord of Soul Li was not completely clear to Xiao Yang until now. This guy really took all the worst results into consideration, and even sacrificed the entire West Temple and all the strong men under Li Soul Guard as blood fog, is just to pave the way for one's own reincarnation. After the 8-star fighting immortals is complete, it will be reincarnation. After stepping into reincarnation, it is divided into 1 to 9 reincarnations. Looking at the current battle, it is obvious that the Lord of Li Soul is not only trying to break through the reincarnation, but even wants to officially step into the first reincarnation with the help of the 5-point blood soul formation. This guy has a human face and a beast heart, and everyone gets it and kills him. Is this doomsday? Watching the countless blood mists on the 5 corners of the Wumong blood soul array retreating to the center of the master of the soul, countless powerhouses were able to detect a touch of Xeon's fluctuations. Soaring at a speed visible to the naked eye, I am afraid that it will not be long before a true supreme ruler will completely fall out from here. Queen. Looking at the 5-maned blood soul formation that could not be resisted in front of them, the 4 minds looked at Hao Enaya, waiting for her order, and even the dozens of elites who followed Hao Enaya behind them. Indifferent, there was no flinch in the pupils, instead a frenzy emerged. Soul Eater Domain suffered heavy losses after being attacked by the Lord of Souls. It was the woman in front of her who fully supported Soul Eater Domain. Since they decided to follow Hao Enaya, they had put their own life and death aside. Call. You go. I'll destroy this place. His eyes closed slightly, and then opened them after a short breath, and then Hao Enaya let out a long sigh, and there was an unquestionable arrogance in his voice. When Ku's boudoir is gentle and jade, and Wu Ku tears the sky with his bare hand. Queen. Hearing Hao Enaya's solemn and serious words, all the subordinates behind him crawled down and said eagerly, I've made up my mind, I don't need to say more. Bai Zi, take them away. Hao Enaya raised his hand while speaking, and the exquisite jade ring suddenly fell off, instantly turning into a silver door of space, which was filled with a strong power of space. Obviously, this jade ring is an immortal weapon of high quality and contains terrifying space energy. I am willing to live and die with the Queen. Seeing the gate of space pouring out, the 4 Bai Zi Soul Eater suddenly spoke, and there was a shock that could not be disobeyed in their voices. Just as everyone was arguing, a dazzling black light suddenly erupted from the center of the evil 5-point blood soul formation above the sky. With a sound, the gate of space shattered in an instant, and even the black orn had not completely disappeared, and fell down along the gate of space, and for a while, a crack of several thousand meters slowly paved from the desert sand. Even a few elites of the 6-star fighting immortal level were directly hit by his slashing. Without any sound, they turned into a blood fog and completely fell. What's going on? Seeing this scene, Bai Zi was the first to speak. It's the Lord of Soul Li, and we still underestimate his ambition. At this time, Hao Enaya looked solemn and slowly stared at the pink void in the center of the Wumong blood soul array. It was obvious that the attack just now was from Li Soul. In the hands of the Lord, what he wants is for everyone to pave the way for him and forge his path of reincarnation, and he won't let everyone who enters here be spared. I am afraid that when entering the hinterland of the desert, the formation here has already begun to operate. Unless the master of Li Soul takes the initiative to contact, this is an altar, specially used to achieve the blood and soul formation of one's own path of reincarnation, and judging from the fluctuation just now, his power should be infinitely close to the real reincarnation at this time, and it is extremely close to the real success. We don't have time. Just when everyone was helpless, a thin body stepped on come out. Xiao Yang, you. Hao Naya shook his head as he looked at the young man in front of him. Senior sister, I'm also the teacher's disciple. Let me do this. Looking at Hao Enaya who was extremely stubborn in front of him, Xiao Yang said softly, obviously from Hao Enaya's words just now, Xiao Yang had already sensed it. With some firm intentions. The teacher once told me that your future achievements will stand at the top of the world, so as your senior sister, I still need me to do these things. After that, Haoena's palm flashed, and one of them was covered with countless ghostly ghosts. The exquisite ancient talisman surrounded by chi slowly emerged. Devouring. Soul-devouring talisman? Looking at the exquisite ancient talisman that appeared in Haoena's palm, it seemed to be attached to countless resentful ghosts, showing the supreme sinister power, and everyone behind him said in unison. Even if he stands on the top of the world in the future, if he can't even protect the people he wants to protect, it should be very pitiful. Seeing Haoena in such a state, Xiao Yan did not evade, and approached and walked away step by step. Little junior brother, and you, this time, I will protect you. With the appearance of Soul Eater, Haoena's aura was greatly enhanced. Although he did not touch Samsara, he also reached the 8-star fighting immortal. The pinnacle of consummation, and she ignored Xiao Yang's voice, because after everything was decided by her, 5 people could change, including her teacher, the Lord of Soul Eater. No. Hearing Haoena's words, everyone's pupils became scarlet. Of course, they knew Haoena's pride in being a human being, and roared immediately, but if Soul Eater realm didn't have her, I'm afraid it would be no less than lost. Left arm and right shoulder. Wong buzzing. Unfortunately, Haoena didn't intend to let them take this power and risk. The jade ring in his hand fell off, and immediately turned into a silver halo, completely covering the bodies of the people behind them, making them unable to break free for a short time. Protect everyone. Xian Tianhuan can resist an attack from a semi-reincarnation powerhouse. He was a gift from my teacher. Fortunately, it comes in handy now. After covering the crowd, Haoena's whole body was filled with a soft light and smiled. Space system, Earth system. It seems that every strong person who steps into the 8-star fighting immortal can master the 2 attributes, or if this is their own opportunity, it is unknown, but when Haoena has the 2 attributes and the Soul Eater talisman together when it appeared, Xiao Yang's heart couldn't help but shake. Thank you. Haoena suddenly turned around, her beautiful eyes were abnormally energetic, she muttered to the people under the protection of Xian Tianhuan, and immediately bent over and bowed. Queen, don't. I can't. There were bursts of mourning voices, and even tears flashed in everyone's pupils, their noses were sour, and a sense of sourness poured into their hearts. Soul-devouring talisman. Space. Soil. After a while, Haoena turned around, his eyes fixed on the pink space in the center of the 5-mang blood soul array, and he spoke slowly, even under the words, is not any simple words, but a bit like some kind of chant, trying to awaken the ancient power above the Soul Eater talisman. It seemed that Haoena was aware of such a method. In the 5-mang blood soul array, the blood mist kept rolling over, and it turned out to be vigilant against Haoena. Teacher's revenge, I will take revenge for him today. Haoena laughed when he said in a deep voice. At the same time, countless powers rolled around, and the soul-devouring talisman also flourished, like a demon enjoying the beauty of the world. What's going on? Seeing this scene, Xiao Yang wondered. Soul Eater. The queen must want to use all her strength to awaken the Soul Eater domain and completely crack the reincarnation path of the Master of Souls, because the Soul Eater talisman is the Master's supreme divine weapon, which contains unimaginable terrifying power. I am afraid that now only the Soul Eater talisman can crack the situation. But then, the queen will die. At this moment, dozens of people also became serious, their expressions dignified, obviously helpless. Immediately when Haoena was about to start, a thin figure suddenly stood in front of him, and this thin figure contained a terrifying force that moved the world. Leave this kind of thing to me. A lazy voice emerged, Xiao Yang's figure appeared, but now Xiao Yang's aura was increasing, and the dark cloak was emerging, obviously he had obtained Xiao Sensheng's power. You are still young and have infinite possibilities. Go back. It seems that this scene has been expected long ago, and the Soul Eater talisman and the second group of rays of light are tightly held by it. A more sinister power is about to emerge from the Soul Eater talisman. Give it to me, senior sister, Soul Eater still needs you. Xiao Yang also felt a headache for a while. Hey, little guy, this girl is not as simple as you think, it comes from the pride and stubbornness in her bones. Xiao Sensheng also stayed in Xiao Yang's body quietly and smiled. Now his power has recovered to the 8-star Dozian consummation, and even found some solutions in the Emperor Yang ring, but unfortunately he can't use it now, but his power is completely handed over to Xiao Yang, because Xiao Yang just wiped it out. The scene of Fang Hao gave Xiao Sensheng a new understanding of Xiao Yang, and it would take time for him to come into contact with some secrets of Emperor Yenjie himself. Xiao clan needs you too, Haoena said, her body trembled, and the bright space directly tried to isolate Xiao Yang. A deafening voice whistled, and the five-mang blood and soul formation suddenly trembled. No need to struggle, today is my reincarnation time, just use the two of you to pay homage to my reincarnation road. Just as Xiao Yang and the two were arguing, within the Wumang blood soul formation, a force like the most tyrannical force between heaven and earth slowly emerged. That is a supreme power that surpasses the entire world, not like the power that 8 starfighting immortals or half samsara can possess, because that's the real wave of reincarnation. Lord Li Soul, successful? Hearing this voice resounding like a demonic voice throughout the desert hinterland, the many powerhouses under the protection of Shen Tianhuan, their pupils shrank tightly, and hurriedly turned their eyes to the sky. The five-mang blood and soul array on top was projected. At this moment, the countless gloomy blood mists in the 5 corners of the Wumang blood soul array have completely disappeared without a trace, and even the pink space in the center of the formation is constantly shaking, and even the world is afraid of it. Terrible fluctuations arise spontaneously. He still succeeded. Seeing such a scene, Hao Enaya looked extremely solemn, and immediately said solemnly, "Senior sister, give me the Soul Eater talisman, and you can go." Xiao Yang said with a solemn expression, looking at the constantly shaking and expanding pink space. "Then you will die. But if we don't, we'll all die. Then let me be the hero, you should still be your descendant of the Xiao clan." Senior sister. The two stood tall in the sky, and their simple conversation made Xiao Yang jump into a rage. "Junior brother, listen to me, there are mysterious things in me, so I won't die, so you take them and go." After a while, seeing Xiao Yang's same stubborn temper, Hao Enaya did not give in at all. Can only bow down and say. However, what is the mystery of Hao Enaya? Once he completely detonates his own power and triggers the true power of the Soul Eater talisman, although he can fight against the Master of the Soul, in the end, no matter whether he succeeds or fails, Hao Enaya will eventually lose his soul. Wait a minute, there's still time. Go back. And Xiao Yang just wanted to explain that with Xiao Sunsheng's power and holy flame, he finally dealt with the Master of Li Soul for a time or two. A terrifying ripple that made Xiao Yang's scalp numb, slowly spread from the sky like the end of the day. Top spread. Without any pause, Xiao Yang's figure wriggled, directly pulling Hao Enaya with his palm and forcibly taking him towards Shen Tianhuan. Stunned. Hao Enaya originally wanted to have other words to break Xiao Yang's stubbornness, but after being pulled by Xiao Yang like this, something strange appeared on her calm and pretty face. It seems that since childhood, he has only cared about cultivation, and has never faced a man before, even being pulled by Xiao Yang. A rather unfamiliar figure of a man appeared in Hao Enaya's memory, as if he and this man the relationship is quite close, but Hao Naya can't remember who he is for a while. Defend with all your strength. Xiao Yang brought Hao Enaya to the Shentian Ring protective shield, moved the protective barrier directly towards the bottom of the desert, and immediately spoke to the strong around him. Wang buzzing. Because these guys knew Xiao Yang's identity, without any hesitation, the dazzling fighting chi turned into hundreds of rock-solid fighting chi barriers, wrapping everyone tightly. The forbidden technique of the Demon of Light actually collided with the time when the Lord of Li Soul broke through the cycle of reincarnation. At this moment, the black evil dragon wolf and Yu who were beside Xiao Yang, spoke at the same time. For a time, through the endless desert, with the strength of their souls, everyone could clearly feel every move that took place in the desert. The yellow sand is squirming like the ocean, clamoring for their anger, and this already dilapidated desert hinterland, 2 strong auras isolated from the world, are about to appear in the world. Lord of Li Soul. In an instant, when the endless rays of light converged on the top of the desert, the Demon of Light's beautiful eyes finally unfolded. At the same time, a pure white holy sword of judgment thousands of meters in size quietly crawls in the light. The head of the devil. The bright breath is extremely powerful, and even the sacred breath contained in it purifies all the evil in the world. The bright wings behind him slowly stretch, and the golden pattern on the bright holy garment pushes its breath to the real half-reincarnation realm. What an evil formation! This formation may have eroded the blood souls of tens of thousands of elites in Li Soul domain. The Demon of Light did not act, nor did he easily cut off the forbidden level judgment sword. His eyes swept lightly, and instantly locked the 5 corners of the 5-mang blood soul formation in front of him that had already dried up. Lord of the Soul, come out and die. At the next moment, the beautiful eyes stared at the core of the formation, constantly shaking and expanding the pink light group. An extremely terrifying speed, growing rapidly. And that devil baby is the newborn of the Master of the Soul. The ghostly aura seemed to sense the divine aura of the Demon of Light, and it vibrated immediately, quite frightened. Light. Without any hesitation, He tightly guarded the forbidden technique divine sword above his head, and the dazzling rays of light gathered behind him. Immediately, endless milky white rays of light rushed towards the five-mang blood and soul formation. Boom! Attacked by such a sacred aura of light from the demon of light, the sturdy evil formation became shaky for a while, and it was about to collapse in a blink of an eye. Although I am deeply immersed in evil, such evil formations should not exist in the world, so let's destroy them. The palm of the hand was raised, and countless rays of light turned into a small pair of swords, directly facing the formation in the void. Roaring away. Catcher. With a sound, the formation was completely smashed by it, and then black fragments emerged from the air, and even the entire formation became extremely uneasy. Lord Li Sol, it's over. Forbidden technique of light, sword of demon judgment of light. Looking at the broken evil formation, there was only the pink light group that was extremely strong and could not be destroyed by any means. The demon of light did not hesitate, smiled slightly, and killed with a smile. I mean, there is no doubt about it. As soon as the voice fell, with the blessing of the holy clothes of light, the demon of light was like a real angel, with the white wings behind his back shaking slowly, and every shaking would spread out countless sacred light auras, and the palms slowly lifted. He got up and grabbed the bright judgment demon sword above his head in one fell swoop. Boom boom boom. The breath of the demon of light immediately became sluggish after holding the Qianzhong Jujue sword. Obviously, it takes a lot of time to perform the forbidden technique, but this display is enough to drain all her strength. However, this is the case, she still has the power to wield the demon judgment sword. Lord of Li Sol, the present you brought to him in the past will end completely. Fall under the demon sword. Bright judgment, execution of ghosts and evils. Devil judgment sword. With a loud shout, the pure white magic judgment sword, like a pillar of the sky, slashed away at the place where the Lord of the Soul was, with a strong momentum, destroying the sky and destroying the sky. Land. In an instant, the entire desert hinterland trembled. Countless heaven and earth energies, and even the dust in the sky, became extremely quiet for a while. They were roaring, cheering, and jumping for joy. The Emperor returning from eternal slumber who greeted it. With the advent of this destructive sword, the entire desert hinterland was filled with extremely disturbing fluctuations, as if it would explode and shatter at any time, and the pink light group suddenly burst into a faint channel visible to the naked eye. Immediately, a pink bloodshot spread out, and a beautiful black throne was suspended in the air. On top of his throne, a handsome man with dark pupils stared at the sword that was rushing towards him with a smirk. That is, the Master of the Soul under the reincarnation, and there is also the Master of the Soul who has left the soul body, completely condensed the human body, and successfully devoured the Acacia Heartbreaker. The Lord of Soul Li stood on the black throne, and for a while the black throne was filled with a special evil pattern, like the most ancient and tyrannical power between the world. Ignoring the changes of the Lord of Souls, the Demon of Light tried his best to cut down his final blow. Immediately, relying on the increase of the light saint clothes and the double-sided wings, he floated weakly in the air, and the corner of his mouth raised with a smile. Even if the Lord of Li Sol breaks through the cycle of reincarnation, she still believes that under her light-based forbidden technique, the bright judgment sword, the Lord of Li Sol can only be completely turned into nothingness. This is the confidence of the Demon of Light, because the forbidden technique of the light system has a natural restraint on the Lord of Li Sol. In addition to the fluctuation of the half-reincarnation level at this time, the Demon of Light has enough confidence. This time, I still won. He glanced weakly, and then the Demon of Light laughed. That's not necessarily reincarnation. Isn't it possible that half-reincarnation and a forbidden technique can threaten it? Listening to the words of the Demon of Light, the face of the Master of the Soul became crazy, and a breath that surpassed heaven and earth suddenly filled out. Reincarnation. True reincarnation. It's a pity that even if he has gathered many strong men from the entire West Temple and Li Hunwei, he still hasn't completely entered the first reincarnation. However, the melancholy reincarnation is enough. A wisp of black energy suddenly appeared on the body of Lord Li Sol, and then it was slowly entangled around the new body of Lord Li Sol. After the breath, it turned into a pair of extremely evil black wings. With an overwhelming power, even the soul will be shaken away by it. And the pair of black wings, like objects carefully carved by a demon, slowly stretched out, and after the demon's wings were unfolded, the entire sky became overcast. A shock and anxiety filled everyone under the desert. Heart. I am afraid that the forbidden technique will not be able to defeat the Lord of Souls under samsara, and the Demon of Light should be less fortunate. At this time, Xiao Sensheng, who lived in Xiao Yang's body, spoke softly and said solemnly, Xiao Yang nodded lightly, his eyes froze immediately. Even with the increase in Xiao Sunqing's power, if it really came to the last moment, Xiao Yang would naturally not abandon so many companions. The forbidden technique of the light system is indeed tyrannical, but the master of the soul under the reincarnation is even more terrifying. How Enya also said, obviously the matter decided in his heart has not changed now. Boom! The bright demon judgment sword was swung down by the demon of light, but the speed of its descent was extremely slow, which gave the Lord of Soul Li a chance to breathe. The Lord of Li Soul looked at the 1,000-meter-long bright judgment demon sword in the sky, and slowly surged towards him. The chi was purified so much that the light pattern on the demon judgment sword was covered with countless sacred breaths, and the face of the Lord of Li Soul also became pale. He has just broken through the reincarnation, and he has not fully grasped the power of reincarnation, and the attack of the demon of light is extremely tyrannical. If he is not careful, I am afraid that all plans will be ruined. Great immortal art. Gui Nirvana false god finger. Looking at the pure white devil judgment sword that was like the wrath of a god, the black wings of the Lord of Li Soul suddenly surged, and immediately a strong aura that surpassed the heavens and the earth spread out. Countless dark auras and a rather faint pink flame filled his body, and after a while, they madly gathered towards the void in front of him. After a short while, the void collapsed suddenly, and a swipe of the world was engulfed in it. The discolored black giant finger suddenly emerged from the void. The black giant finger is filled with a black aura, which is the fluctuation of reincarnation, and there are countless black lacquer lines on it, which is completely decorated like a real magic pillar. Great immortal art! Seeing such a terrifying blow from Lord Li Soul, the extremely violent aura suppressed everyone in the desert, and a sense of depression appeared in their hearts. Obviously, this level of attack was performed with the power of true reincarnation. Beyond the realm of heaven and earth, reaching a real Xeon strike is enough to destroy the sky and destroy the earth. Boom! The black giant finger was completely wrapped in countless mysterious lines, and immediately roared away with the world-destroying power that crushed the void. Destroy it! Seeing Lord Li Soul's counterattack so violently, the demon of light nodded slightly and smiled sweetly. The attack of the Lord of Li Soul is tyrannical, which is comparable to the forbidden art, but how can he resist this bright aura? Boom! A deafening voice came from the sky, and two powerful attacks immediately approached, and as the two approached, the void became trembling for a while, as if it would be at any time. Crushed jade is as fragile. The demon of light, it's time to end. I had a lot of trouble today, and I have to thank you for the previous things. My path of reincarnation was also helped by you. After a while, the voice said with a smile, the more bright and terrifying. What's the matter? Hearing the words of the Lord of Souls, the demon of light's delicate body was suddenly shocked, as if he had sensed something. His beautiful eyes suddenly moved, and he looked at the 1,000-jong demon judgment sword. Lovesickness and broken heartitis. Just as the black giant finger and the bright judgment demon sword were about to touch each other, energy ripples that destroyed all things erupted, and a pink flame uncontrollably fell off from the body of Li Soul, and immediately faced it directly. The bright judgment demon sword is attached. After the breath, there were cracks on the blade of the bright demon judgment sword, which suddenly appeared, and with the emergence of these cracks that full of forbidden magic level the sword, the breath disappeared rapidly, and it suddenly dropped in just a moment, and the power was greatly reduced. The light element forbidden technique is indeed very powerful. If he really fights against the Lord of the Soul will also be seriously injured. Unfortunately, the divine aura of the demon judgment sword is useless to the holy flame, so after being attached by the holy flame, the aura of the demon judgment sword was sluggish, and there were faint traces of shattering. You actually successfully swallowed acacia broken enteritis? Not good. Looking at this scene, the pretty face of the demon of light finally turned ugly and pale. It is ridiculous that the forbidden light technique that he exerted with great effort was finally cracked so easily by the master of Soul Li. Without any hesitation, the pink flame instantly disappeared into the body of Li Soul, and then the body of the demon judgment sword shook violently, and the cracks continued to enlarge and finally shattered like a crystal. The flames came out like this without any destructive power. Die. After the sight of the forbidden technique was resolved, the Lord of Li Soul waved his hand, and the destructive energy contained in the black giant finger suddenly went up. At this moment, the demon of light just felt what real fear is. Attacked by the reincarnation level attack, his body became stiff, unable to move at all, the blood flow became extremely slow, an indescribable depression filled his heart, and the breath of death filled his body. Not good. Go. Whatever you say, you can't let the Lord of Li Soul obliterate the devil of light, otherwise. Xiao Yang said in a deep voice, watching the terrifying offensive of the Lord of Li Sol, who seemed to have lost all his fighting spirit. Road. Let's go. Looking at each other, Xiao Yang, Hao Enaya, and Haisha Longlang immediately stood up, penetrated the protection of the defensive cover under the desert, and threw themselves into the battlefield. Now Xiao Yang can no longer care about the acacia broken heart inflammation that was swallowed up by the Lord of Li Sol. The Devil of Light has a special status, and is more expensive as the wife of the Demon Emperor. Xiao Yang can't stand idly by saying anything. Because the demon world is the strongest supporter behind the Xiao clan. And the Demon Emperor, the overlord of the demon world, is extremely fiery towards the Xiao clan, and even the overall power of the demon world occupies an extremely large proportion in the entire Great Thousand World. Boom. The black giant finger contains a strange force that eats away the vitality of human beings. It has just spread hundreds of meters around the Demon of Light. The Demon of Light feels powerless and threatened with death for the first time. So close to myself. Senior, you stay and are responsible for responding to the Demon of Light. Senior sister, Xiao Yang said coldly, with an unprecedented solemnness in his voice, and arranged. Now, by virtue of Xiao Sunqing's strength, he has temporarily possessed the 8-star Dozian consummation, and in the face of Samsara's attack, only Xiao Yang and Hao Enaya can resist a little bit, and the Black Dragon and Wolf can only be used as a response. It's just ants who are beyond their own power. Seeing Xiao Yang and the three of them pouring out, the corners of Master Li Sol's mouth changed slightly, and he said with a smile. The power of reincarnation is more than wonderful and mysterious. It took so much manpower and material resources to finally achieve his own path of reincarnation. He enjoyed watching others cry and cry while living under his own torture, falling into a desperate situation. Instead of directly obliterating the opponent, it is more beautiful to torture the opponent a little bit, and watch the opponent's fighting spirit disappear, just like the Walking Dead. Soul-devouring talisman. Hao Enaya's palm changed, quickly forming seals, and illusory energy spells slowly floated around him, setting off his breath like a real evil girl. You. The Demon of Light, who originally thought that he was going to die, looked at Hao Enaya and Xiao Yang's sudden attack, his expression trembling slightly, and he wondered. The alien race and the Great Thousand World have been at odds since ancient times. How could this guy help him like this? Lord Li Sol is right. The Demon Emperor did not fall completely, but was sealed up by them. This guy in front of me is the key to breaking the seal. Lord Demon of Light. In an instant, the body of the Black Dragon Wolf was transformed directly, showing the body. The huge black dragon shadow of hundreds of meters was suspended in the sky, but compared with the giant finger of destruction, it was extremely small. Black Fiend Dragon Wolf. Looking at this scene, the Demon of Light's expression finally became abnormal. The Demon of Light is familiar with the appearance of Hay Fiend Dragon Wolf, because he is the most trusted subordinate beside the Demon Emperor. If he opens his mouth, then this is probably true. Sir. With a roar, the Black Dragon Wolf's huge body stopped directly in front of the Demon of Light, trying to use his huge dragon body to resist such a tyrannical blow. The power of the Soul Eater Talisman. At the critical moment, the Soul Eater Talisman in Hao Enaya's hand turned into countless black lines, and roared directly at the black giant finger. The power of the 4 holy flames. On the side, Xiao Yang trembled, and 4 groups of holy flames of different colors suddenly appeared, rushing towards the black giant fingers. At this time, Xiao Yang was too late for fusion, and could only rely on the power of the 4 saint flames to try to weaken the power of some black giant fingers. Boom! As soon as the 3 groups of forces came into contact, the entire sky was silent for a second at first, and the next moment, a wave of energy that destroyed the sky and destroyed the earth, with the sky as the center, completely spread out towards the surrounding. For a time, countless yellow sands above the desert hinterland were completely ignited, and even everyone under the protective cover of the desert hinterland suddenly stopped beating, blood flow became sluggish, and a sense of depression filled their hearts. After a few minutes, the aftermath of the shocking explosion in the sky completely disappeared, and the desert hinterland was completely dilapidated, with huge cracks of thousands of feet, as if torn by demons, exposed above the desert. Beneath the crack is an endless dark space. That space contains a terrifying power that is terrifying. Are you all right? As the attack ended, Xiao Yang forced a smile and said to the few people behind him. Hao Enaya's aura became faintly sluggish. It was obvious that he had just used too much of his source power in order to exert the power of the Soul Eater Talisman. Even so, he was only able to exert the power of the Soul Eater Talisman. Xiao Yang, at the last moment his body control was taken over by Xiao Senqing, and he did not hesitate to use his soul power and holy flame to barely resist the attack of the master of the soul under samsara. At this moment, Xiao Yang's body is controlled by Xiao Sensheng, because in the face of the master of the soul who is like a master, only Xiao Sensheng can deal with it. The situation is not optimistic. Xiao Sensheng felt the state of Xiao Yang's body and spoke slightly. As for the demon of light and the black dragon wolf, there is nothing to lose. Dragon wolf. The demon of light, the holy clothes of light, still exists, and the wings behind him slowly wriggle. Obviously, the situation is now beyond his control. Sir, this time, you can't easily fall no matter what, the master has to wait for you. The black devil Long Yi couldn't help but said. This time, I won't die. The demon of light laughed suddenly. As long as that guy didn't die, how could he go to Huangquan alone? I'm tired, so let's end this game completely. Seeing how hard a few people struggled to resist his attack, the Lord of Li Soul laughed. The power of reincarnation, a cold snort, like an evil sound penetrating the sky, spread out completely, and around him, a delicate pink light beam suddenly filled the air. In the pink beam not only contains the power of reincarnation that no one can understand, but also contains the power of lovesickness and broken enteritis. Damn! Seeing this scene, Xiao Sensheng and Hao Enya were shocked. An attack of this level was not something they could resist. Squeak! For a time, a mysterious and evil red halo slowly emerged around the demon of light. This is a sin. Just when he was about to obliterate everyone, the Lord of Soul Li was surprised. The seventh decree, the space is surging. Dressed in red, a man slowly appeared beside the demon of light. The voice just fell, and the two figures shook violently, and an invisible wave of resistance emerged. Where to run? Leave this seat completely. Upon seeing this, the Master of Soul Li roared away at him with the pink beam of light on his palm. With a sound, the pink beam slammed into the air, but the figure of the demon of light completely disappeared here. Soon after, the demon of light and its demon guards all rebelled, seriously injuring some forces of the evil race outside the territory, attempting to submit to the Holy See of humanity, caused a lot of trouble. Even because of this, the demon emperor who had just cracked the seal led the army of the demon world and completely wiped out the power of the Holy See in the human world. Of course, that's all for later. This video will end here.